Hello and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are around the world, and welcome to today's special LLM Postgrad Insight Special. We're joined today by the University of Aberdeen, who are going to be talking specifically about the LLM course that they've got on offer to potential law students. Before I move any further ahead, just a reminder, today's session is live. If you have any questions, please put it in the Q&A facility, the chat facility. And if you are watching on social media today and you do happen to see it on your timeline, please stop and say hi. Please ask any questions you might have in the actual page facility at the bottom. But for now, I'd like to hand you through to Eddie. He's going to be taking you through the next 30 to 40 minutes with a few cameos from Gloria, who's also one of the academics. So Eddie, over to you for now, and I'll be back for the Q&A towards the end.
My name is Dr. Eddy Wifa. I am an energy law lecturer here at the School of Law. And just like you, I did a master's in oil and gas law, I think about 11 or 12 years ago now, how time flies. And just like you, I was interested in, learning and understanding what's out there and expanding my knowledge. And that led me to Aberdeen. I finished my master's and went ahead to do a PhD in marine renewable energy governance, and now I'm a senior lecturer here at the university, and it's been really, really exciting working with fantastic colleagues like Gloria and so many others. And really, what we want to do here is share insights about our program, both online and on campus, and you would see the variations of our master's program, be it dissertation or be it prof skills, and we'll be talking about that in a minute. But it's really just to draw your attention to the wealth, the expertise, and the knowledge that is here in Aberdeen, and the beautiful opportunities that you may find really, really exciting if you do join us. I'll pass on to my colleague, Gloria, who would also introduce herself and take it on from here. Over to you, Gloria.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Eddie. Good morning or good evening, good afternoon to everybody. My name is Gloria Alvarez. I am a senior lecturer also at the law school at the University of Aberdeen. I actually became lecturer in Aberdeen, I think around 7 to 8 years ago. And before that, I did my LLM and my PhD in London. So I've been, let's say, a British academic citizen for the last 15 years. My specialization is on dispute resolution. I love dispute resolution. It's not only my job, it's my passion. I mainly specialize because of the nature of where Aberdeen is placed and where really Scotland is placed in geopolitics. I specialize in how the energy sector uses dispute resolution to obviously resolve legal disputes. So that's essentially what I do at the law school. I have a very nice class on energy arbitration. And I also teach across the spectrum of investment law and investment arbitration as doctrine call it. But I'm also a very kind of curious person because I like to work in practice. I sit quite often as arbitrator in mainly energy disputes. So I think that's a great thing I can offer to my students, to not only teach them the scholarship or the doctrine or the theoretical relevance of law, but also I think it's very important that us as academic we feed into our students knowledge, and that knowledge has to be kind of delivered also from the practical perspective, which is something I'm very, very, very proud of doing. Perhaps I will take advantage of the kindness of Dr. Wifa, and I will. We can go to the next slide. We have very often questions about fees and accommodation. I myself was, when I moved to Aberdeen, actually, I used the university accommodation facilities. It is a very friendly setting, and the people out there in states of the university are super helpful. They offer very different types of residence, different for different budgets, obviously different preferences. Just in a matter of example, I used to live in a flat with other three girls. All of us, two of them were PhDs, and two of us were already academics. So that's the type of thing that I really enjoy about kind of being new in Aberdeen, that I was very helped by even how to find where to live. So we have shared here on the slides the links. We won't enter into the details, but please, by all means, have a look at it. You can reach out to the people on states or accommodation, and I am sure they will reply to you very, very quickly. But I strongly recommend you to do that if in case you are interested to come into to Aberdeen. So we are also really proud, by the way. That's one of the reasons I was super honored when I got my job in Aberdeen, because we have historically really, you can see the recent rankings here, but historically we have been a fantastic law school for undergrads. We take the pride of that. A lot of international students, but a lot of particularly European students like to come to the university, to the law school, to do their undergrad degree simply by the prestigious we have. Obviously, you might know this, you might not know that. In Scotland, we have a hybrid of common law and civil law. So it also, that I think it is illustrated in the way we teach. We have a variety of classes, a variety of people that teaches, and we are often kind of given that balance between common law and civil law. But very importantly, we are also very, very proud, and Dr. Wifa is one of those people. We're very proud of being one of the best universities teaching energy law, or the whole spectrum of really what it is today, energy law. And you can see that in the rankings. I think you have to come and study with us so that you know what we are talking about. And I really mean it, because we don't teach really energy law as a subject. We teach it as a whole economic sector that is constantly growing hand in hand with the law. And we, as I say, we are very proud of having kind of contribute to the specialization of that part of the of a legal field. So this is some of our kind of badges of honor that we have. But of course, we have been, and as I say, and I really want to highlight, historically we are consistently ranked not only for postgraduate but also for undergraduate in very high rankings. Yeah, I don't know, Eddie, if you want to. Thank you. So this is something I'm also experienced firsthand myself. At the beginning, I used to live in London and I used to go to Aberdeen to teach. So I am witness of how quick is that flight. We indeed are 1 hour flight from London. So, you can always take some weekend breaks or some short holidays and travel around Europe, but also in the UK. We also have a very nice, very well connected train station. Again, I'm a very heavy user of the train station, so all of this is something we experience as academics. And Aberdeen, as you see, and that's the reason we are so dominant in the energy sector, is because geographically we are placed at the beginning, I should say, of the North Sea. So it is very strategically where we are placed, and our role really in a lot of the Scottish economy, and generally speaking of the UK economy. But why? It's because our dominance with onshore and offshore facilities, of course, which again is something Dr. Wifa is an expert. But yeah, this is a little bit more about Aberdeen. You're also 2 hours away from Edinburgh.
Yeah, so it's not far at all. I mean, just picking up on Aberdeen, I came to Aberdeen in 2013, and Gloria will tell you our job takes us all over the world. You could be in US or Norway or Bergen or Australia, but I always get excited when I have to come back to Scotland because it's a really, really beautiful city. Sometimes the weather, you may have a bit of rain, but that's the same thing with every other places, and so I've found it really, really enjoyable living in Aberdeen for the last 10, 11 years. But it's also to say that as a university at postgrad level, you could see some of the rankings that my colleague, that Gloria had mentioned. I mean, you're talking about 94% graduate success rate. I think it's important that you guys capture that as well, and it's a badge of honor, like Gloria said, with something we're really proud of. But you're gonna enjoy the city, and you're gonna enjoy the breadth of knowledge that is, as Gloria captures, it's both practical, it's both theoretical, and everything in between. So you're graduating in knowledge, but you're also understanding what the market is once you move on. Personally, I'm a foodie, as most people would know, but it's a beautiful place in terms of the restaurants. The weather is mild, more mild than you would think. Has 6 museums and art galleries. It's just beautiful. So if you're looking for where to go, there are really beautiful places around Aberdeen that you would go. And I can say currently there's a lot of changes happening. If you walk through the city center, walk by the beach. Some people don't believe we have a beach in Aberdeen. I remember my family coming and saying, "You guys have a beach here?" I said, "Yes, we do." So there's a lot of regeneration projects that are going on. There's a news currently saying Aberdeen will be injected with about 30 billion pounds. So there's a lot of activities that will significantly transform the city in the next couple of years as well. So you've got all of those activities that I think are fundamental to your living. So as much as you're studying, and we do pride ourselves in terms of our studies, we still pride Aberdeen as one of the most beautiful places to live in the world. So supermarket, shoppings, castles to visit, museums, and all of those things. And yeah, that's our beautiful campus. Myself and Gloria's office, certainly not, yeah, just around there. So that is the quad where we would find time to sit out. That's our library, really fantastic place, that we would spend time sometimes studying. That's the Sir Duncan Rice Library. So really beautiful. It's, you can imagine it's in the sunlight. It's a fantastic building. But that's where you would have your general, all students will attend. But we also have a law library, which we will talk about in a minute. So take your time to look at our beautiful campus. You'll be having some of your classes here for sure. And in the summer, you could sit out here and have lunch and sandwiches with friends and colleagues. And you could go to the Sir Duncan Rice Library. It's even more beautiful inside. So I'll be speaking shortly on LLM programs, and I'll pass on to Gloria, and you will find out that we've got a variety of study options. So I'll hand over to Gloria, who will be speaking on prof skills versus dissertation and other issues as well. Over to you, Gloria.
Thank you so much, Eddie. So we created around perhaps 8 years ago, it was around the time I joined the university. Traditionally in the UK, students do a LLM degree, and the normal way towards graduation is to complete a dissertation kind of writing assessment. That's really what is a dissertation, a writing assessment, or for some of us, an essay, a long essay. And that's the way historically in the UK you graduate towards the LLM completion. But around 8 years ago at the University of Aberdeen, we thought that there were students who not necessarily enjoy the writing process, or they might have different ambitions towards trying to reach potential, kind of jobs after their LLM. So we wanted to give them something else, something extra, something that they could put in their CV one day while they were applying, which will be kind of an add-on or something to stand out in their CVs. So we created something called professional skills, which is an alternative. Let's say students who don't take the dissertation pathway, they will come to us, and we have created 2 courses mainly. We have others. We have one in intellectual property. For many years, we also had running one on trade law and negotiation. But we have 2 fantastic professional skill courses, one on an energy law, kind of globally speaking, because it divides on different kind of needs of the energy sector. And then we have another one on dispute resolution. And what we do is, let's say, is a kind of very well-packed summer course. It runs around 2-3 weeks during the summer. And it is very practical. We often tend to invite people from the business school, people from the industry, lawyers, mainly, to come to the class and teach the students practical things that actually they will face once they go to their new jobs, or once they have graduated and they reincorporate themselves back to the work place. So it is something, honestly, it is fantastic. It's such a rich experience. I myself like to sit in the classes and learn, because we really make a huge effort of bringing very experienced industry professionals. it really depends on the course you are taking. For example, you might have a hypothetical case, or you can be like a legal / project manager on a energy case, but also, for example, in dispute resolution, you kind of are an arbitrator throughout the whole 2 weeks, and you start and you end an arbitration process. So every day you hear from a different practitioner how to resolve specific problems of the arbitration procedure, like such as emergency measures, the first conference call between the parties in the arbitration tribunal, your issues of independence and impartiality, how to write an arbitration award, oral pleadings, etc. So it is something that we love to deliver during the summer. And then the alternative to that is a traditional dissertation pathway, where students actually, they started last month. They start as soon as they come back from their December holidays. Students start kind of identifying a topic or a theme of law that they enjoy, that they see themselves potentially being able to write. And please, Dr. Wifa, correct me if I'm wrong. 10,000 words,
Yeah.
and they start doing that process. It's a little bit slower in the sense that they start the process from January all the way to at some point in the summer to deliver the dissertation. And as I said, the alternative to that is Prof Skills, which is a course during the summer that is around three intensive weeks where they take this. Actually, we have some links here, so you can look into the videos. We have very nice videos on both pathways that we have kind of curated throughout the years. But it's something fantastic that I strongly recommend students to kind of have a look around, to really think about it when they apply for an LLM, how they see themselves, which skills they think they need to foster or to grow. And based on that, you take a decision whether if you want to do a dissertation or whether you want to do Prof Skills. And I think this is something we only offer in Aberdeen. In other universities, they have tried to replicate similar formats, but I think it has worked very well with us because of the expertise we have, particularly in the energy sector and in dispute resolution. We have been very, very successful at it. I don't know, Dr. Wifa, if you want to say something else about that?
No, I mean, yeah, you're absolutely right. And again, I did dissertation when I did my master's, and I remember writing my dissertation, and I was indeed jealous when I saw the experts coming in with the prof skills, and I was like, oh my God, now I wish I had done prof skills. So it hurt at the time, but now I do understand that there is value, and it's just a question of choice. And if you want to have those very practical skills hands on, and would provide you with the opportunities to network and engage and see what opportunities are out there in the market, and would position you to hit the ground running once you do finish your masters and go on to complete your job. So, some people ask, which one should I do? And I get that from students. And I'm like, oh no, I cannot choose for you between dissertation and prof skills. Of course, prof skills is a bit has more experts, has more participation. You're working with peers. You're developing a lot of skills that are different to you writing a dissertation all by yourself. So it just depends on what do you want. And so don't ask me which one is better. Once you come in and you would have a feeler perhaps of what both might look like, you would be able to take a decision. And back to you, Gloria, on online.
Right. So we also have developed in parallel to our fantastic on-campus program that Dr. Wifa is the LLM coordinator, program coordinator. We do also offer a set of options as LLM online programs, which again, we are very proud because they have been very successful. It really had nothing to do with COVID. Before the pandemic, we were already very successful in the online offering. Why? And this is very interesting for some of you which might have a different law background. We start seeing that a lot of people specialize in economics and in engineering wanted to do an LLM degree, maybe because of the type of jobs or their stage in the professional career they were. They wanted to have a little bit better understanding of the law in a specific context. So we offer an LLM on dispute resolution. We have a second one on international trade, and an alternative, depending on the subjects you are taking, is an LLM in international trade law and treaty negotiation. We have a fantastic LLM in energy transition law, which again, we were one of the very, very first ones to put forward that to the academic market and to the students. And we have our very prestigious LLM, oil and gas law, which we also run on campus, but obviously online. As I said, it has got a different appetite, a different interest, different type of students, mainly because maybe they are more experienced or they have already faced certain issues in their professional life. They kind of come back to academia and they want to professionalize themselves a little bit more within the law. We are very flexible, and that's perhaps one of the reasons we are very successful as well in our online offering, because there are different starting points. Also in September, also in January, but also students don't necessarily need to take all their courses, let's say in one go, meaning 1 year. They can dilute them as they go and they can take different credits, let's call it like that, so that they build up towards an LLM degree in a more kind of spread out timeline. And that's something that it has become super attractive and super friendly to the students. And again, if you are interested, you can look into our website. What I will tell you now is that we try to mirror a lot of the on-campus content into our online content so that there is a lot of quality consistency across the things we deliver. The only perhaps difference, and that difference you might not be able to read it on the website, is the flexibility we offer you in the online programs. Because of what I said, you are allowed to take less credits per term so that you build towards your LLM degree in a longer amount of time. Maybe can you help me
Yeah.
out with?
Okay. And then I think just to mention that we're ranked top 10 for online and hybrid LLMs in the world. And that's by the LLM Guide 2024. So that shows that we're very, very highly ranked, as Gloria has captured. On in terms of on-campus programs, I am the LLM director for on-campus programs, and we have a variety of taught masters programs as well. And we've got the general LLM in energy and environment, we've got commercial law and trade, we've got human rights and criminal justice, and we've got international intellectual property and information law, and we've got international law more broadly. So if you want to see a bit more in terms of the details, you would be, you could click on the link below, and hopefully the slides will be available to everyone. But these are really, really fantastic programs and are developed very consistently to reflect all the changes in society. So be it human rights and criminal justice, you will see different dimensions in relation to what is ongoing. Energy and environmental law, you would see elements of oil and gas as well, and all of those things. So we've got a wide range of programs that you would find really, really suitable. I think it's helpful to capture one of the things we pride ourselves as offering. And we do understand that different jurisdictions may be having different inflationary issues or economic challenges, and so with students as well. So, we've introduced the Global Aberdeen Scholarship. It's a fantastic scholarship, and I need to stress that you get £8,000 postgraduate program fee waiver. Once you join us, it's automatic. You don't need to do anything to get it, and that's for postgraduate. And you've got £6,000 for undergraduate programs as well as your fee waiver. Just to give you a bit of context, if you take away £8,000 from the school fees, it takes you very close to what I paid around 10 years ago for my master's. I didn't have the global scholarship at the time, so you can imagine how valuable that is. That £8,000 off your tuition, takes you back 10 years to what I paid when pretty close to what I paid when I did my master's. So it gives you a bit of a context. So it is automatic. Once you apply, you get it. Once you apply and you get your admission or your offer, you would see it in your offer letter when it's you're entitled to the Aberdeen Global Scholarship. So, you know, that's a big issue. That's a good plus, and something that we pride ourselves as being aware of the different economic challenges, and that has now been introduced. So £8,000 postgraduate program fee waiver for master students, and £6,000 for undergraduate. But then there are other funding opportunities as well. So we've got a range of scholarships that you may find useful. And all you need to do is to click on the link, and then you could just tweak or toggle some of those buttons. If you're looking for all scholarships, if you're looking at scholarships that are, you know, specific to certain regions, you can just work on that and tweak that a little, and you would get scholarships that will be most suitable to you. So we've got the global scholarship, but then we've got other forms of scholarships as well, like, for example, the CB Davidson scholarship that gives you, I think, about £2,500 pounds twice a year. So you've got the March entry, and you've got something around August. So that could give you extra, potentially another £5,000. So it gives you a sense that if you get an £8,000 fee waiver and you get two CB Davidson, that's extra. That's £13,000 worth of scholarship. And some people don't know about this, and that's why we kind of have these sessions, so that we can bring these things to your attention, that you could potentially get close to £13,000 worth of scholarship once you start putting it together. But that's just a bit of a context. But again, once you apply, once you get your offer, you can then begin applying and working on those scholarships. In terms of the choice of law-focused student societies, as much as academics, we, you know, engage and we teach and we take you on workshops and do all of these things in the classroom and outside of the classrooms, including we have visitation activities as well, field trips, all of that. We do understand the value of peer-to-peer learning. And so we have a variety of societies, like the Bar Society, the Aberdeen Student Law Review, the Lawyers Without Buffers. That's one I joined myself when I was a student, and I really, really found it useful. I remember I was doing a project for one of the African countries on human rights and gender and all of those things. So I really found that's where I really got my hands on research activities, you know, at a very early stage. And if you had something you've written, be it a coursework, and you really wanted to put your work out there, you could publish it in the Aberdeen Student Law Review, and there are prizes for best publication as well. We've got the Aberdeen Law Project, we've got the Junior Lawyers Against Poverty, we've got the Commercial Law Society, Meeting Society, Law Society, and Dispute Resolution Society, one that my colleague Gloria has been really, really supporting. So we've got all of these fantastic societies. So you're not going to get bored. Let me just say that there's so much to do. So once you're out of the classroom and you're looking for something with peers, with friends, and others to participate or do something with, then these are fantastic societies that, you know, that are available to you. In terms of our on-campus teaching and delivery, we've got a number of approaches to teaching. We've got seminars, usually about 2 hours for seminars. Occasionally, you might have lectures, but not always. But at master's level, you would usually have seminars. At undergrad, you would have lectures and tutorials. And then you've got workshops. You know, we run different workshops, really practical, where you'll be giving case studies or scenarios, and you'd work in groups to engage with it. And then, of course, we've got dissertation supervision. So as much as, you know, we're talking about prof skills being very collaborative and all of that, and you're bringing in experts, for dissertations, you would be entitled to some support. So we don't just leave you on your own high and dry. You would have these dissertation courses where my colleagues would be teaching you about academic writing. We've also got critical legal thinking and scholarship as well, which supports you in your writing. So you're going to learn things around referencing, avoiding plagiarism, and how to string sentences and structures together in an academic way. And then we've got some that you would have as block teachings, which is something like the prof skills that my colleague, like Gloria, was talking about. Your courses, the start of term, once you start, again, because we have a really good mix of students from all over the world in an international sense, we really start off with critical legal thinking and scholarships, which is really to help people understand the Aberdeen way of writing and doing your essays. Because again, most of your work will be done, your assessments will be done through essays, presentations, and all of those things. And we think that's valuable to show you how to write, even if you may know. But again, you find out that as lawyers from different jurisdictions, we all write differently. And I learned that when I came over to say, okay, I'm not writing like I was writing to a judge anymore. It's a complete different writing skill set that you require. And that's what we would be providing with all the support. We work very close collaboration with the library services, with the language center. And if we find out that each individual, needs extra support, we provide bespoke individual support to everyone who needs it. And that's why we have a number of strategies to identify those who would need extra support, and that support is provided. And you would find that really useful once you join us. We have a range of support services, and this is something I try to encourage students, that you don't wait until you have a problem. You don't wait until it's too late to mention any problems or any concerns that you may be having. So we have a lot of support, student support services for academic writing. I remember when I did my master's, I went, to get support in how to answer things like exam questions, if you're having any mental health difficulties. All of these services are available for you. You don't seem to realize it. And let me stress, it's available for online students as well. So, people online tend to forget that they're almost, they feel excluded in some ways. And as much as we try to, involve them and carry them along, but of course, they're dealing with so many things outside of the university, and they don't realize that they are equally entitled to the student support services. And so you constantly have to remind online students that, come on, these things are available to you. So we have a range of support, both at the students' union level, but also at the university-wide level, that I would encourage you all to do. In terms of assessments, we've got a range of assessments. I don't know, Gloria, if you want to, talk about assessments a bit, and how these are delivered.
Of course. Thank you, Eddy. So we have a lot of different assessments, and that really kind of we match the way we do assessments with the learning objectives. Some of us in our courses, we have more practical assessments. Some of us, we still ask the students to do exams and essays. But I will say that if you review or if you look into our courses, we tend to have kind of a very good hybrid, a very good combination between kind of theoretical assessments and more practical ones, and also more friendly ones, because some of our assessments are also online, meaning, for example, in one of my courses, I have a multiple choice test. I also have something that is called fair and equitable treatment labs. So I let my students create their own definitions of a specific academic concept. We also have, for example, in professional skills, a good number of assessments about presentations, about oral pleadings, as I was mentioning earlier. Online, we also have something called discussion boards. So sometimes it can be almost like an interactive tutorial or practical questions that the students have to kind of answer in written, and then later on there might be a kind of a presentation so that we share some feedback across all the classmates. So I like that expression that Eddy was saying, that you don't get bored. You also don't get bored in terms of assessments, not because we over assess, but because we really try to assess to all the types of thinking. And I know some students enjoy or feel more comfortable with essays, but some others might enjoy or might see more straightforward oral presentation. So we try to cater in our assessments while meeting the learning objectives. We are also trying that everybody feels comfortable, and it's also a very friendly and approachable learning process where everybody is very successful in their LLM experience. And this is really what we offer. I am sure that all of you, having already studied a degree before or studying currently your own first kind of university degree, you have come across about some of these assessments. We also have online something that we call a course catalog. And in there, let's say if you type intellectual property, you will see all the courses that we offer regarding intellectual property and the way the assessments are done in those courses. So that's very helpful, particularly when before joining Aberdeen, some of you do it, and we know that you do it because sometimes we get queries about it. So this is a tool I recommend you guys to do. Dr. Wifa was also talking about our dedicated law school library. To be honest, I like both libraries. It just depends perhaps on the mood and if I don't want to walk or if I want to walk or I don't want to be seen. And why I say this, because the Taylor building, let's say the law school building, in one of our floors, we have this dedicated law school library. It's very popular. It's very loved by our students. If you go there, you will think, why students are here? If there is another big library, it's just very popular. And there's also the accessibility that many of the law books are in this library. Um, Parallel to that, as Dr. Wifa was saying, we also have a very big library, a beautiful building that you can see the North Sea from the top floor. And in there, we also have a law section. There's also great facilities to do teamwork, but also to be on your own if you need a little bit more time of concentration. Also, if you want to have a coffee or to chill while you do an assessment. So we offer different kind of possibilities within our libraries, but this one dedicated in the Taylor building it's our jewel, our secret jewel. Uh, we also have a couple of research centers that have become really, really strong in the last decade, I will say, um, because it was the onset when they were created. And again, it kind of caters or fits into the biggest kind of sub areas of law. We have the Center for Commercial Law. We have the very respected, which is older than 10 years. It's far much older than that because it's very prestigious. Our OSEL, as we call it internally, which is the Aberdeen University Center for Energy Law. I won't talk about it because Dr. Wifa can talk about that one. We also have the Center for Public International Law. We have also another one. Even we don't have enough, as you can see, we have one on commercial law, but we also have one on private international law. And obviously you are in Scotland, and we have a very good center with great colleagues at the Center for Scots Law. We also have dispute resolution network, so which is that those people that comes to prof skills, those experts that come to prof skills, and the internal academics, we have created a kind of a group where we meet once or twice per year, and we talk about ideas or research projects. We are also very active contributing to consultations in the UK, but also consultations taking place more broadly in Europe, particularly. And I won't talk about that one as well because we have a great representative of that one. I should also help more to Dr. Wifa on this one, which is the Global South Law Research Network. So, Eddy, if you want to tell us a bit more about OSEL and the Global South.
Absolutely. And I think it's helpful we capture this because sometimes when students come, the assumption is, all they do is attend seminars and lectures in classrooms. But they don't know that depending on the courses they're studying, they are directly affiliated to some of these centers. So if you're doing an LLM in commercial law, you are already part of the Center for Commercial Law, which means all of those activities that the centers will be organizing, you will be able to attend them for free and learn from experts and learn from colleagues and interact in those ways. So I particularly and I co-convene. I found and co-convene the Global South Law Research Network. And it's really because we started having, we have lots of colleagues from the global south, be it Africa, be it Southeast Asia, and all other parts of the world. We found out that we needed a community where we could, support one another. Dr. Alvarez is doing really fantastic work, and it's helpful to shine the light on some of these activities. And because of the kind of activities that the centers may be doing, we may not have the opportunities to engage in a more focused way on some of these dimensions and the context that these issues bring. And so we kind of created these sort of networks that are largely horizontal rather than vertical to provide us with that support. And again, students from these regions have found it consistently, useful. They engage. The master students would engage with our PhD students. They will make presentations. They will ask questions and they will interact. Same with the Aberdeen University Center for Energy Law, where you would see, most of the experts in energy, oil and gas. Dr. Alvarez is a member of it, really, really fantastic colleague. We all engage on a number of fronts to draw out, issues that engage and provide clarity to, issues around the world. And that is why you find that our teaching is research-led. Because we go into the centers, we do all this research, we engage with it, and then we come back to teach it. So it's not, we're not making things up. It's really driven by some really independent, rigorous research that we've done from time to time. So even some of the articles on your reading list would be works that we've done, but also works that other fantastic colleagues have also been working on. So again, that is a bonus. You've got sessions in the centers that you will be part of, and I can't encourage you enough to take advantage of it, because you'll be dealing with a variety of topics that we may not be able to cover in the classroom, but you'll be having those, sort of additional knowledge to engage with it. We'll be organizing conferences, and so you get so much from it in terms of activities and all of that. I think I cannot stress how proud we are of our alumni, not just because I'm one, but of course we've got really fantastic colleagues and alumni that have, made us proud in a variety of ways. And you'll be seeing them, shortly. So that's, if you've watched Game of Thrones, then you know Liam Glenn, and there's also an energy expert, that you would find really, really encouraging and inspiring, and that's Adako Iferi. She's done some excellent work for international bodies on energy matters in Africa and Nigeria more specifically. We've got from Aberdeen, we've got the Chief Constable in Livingston. And so you'd see all of these different fantastic alumni that we really, really pride ourselves as showcasing. Yeah, maybe I should get my picture there as well. But we've really got fantastic colleagues and alumni that we're proud of, and that means we've got an alumni group that once you graduate you will be part. So it's not like, okay, you're done, goodbye, that's it. We've got an alumni group all over the world. I see lots of activities in Hong Kong. I think the next one is, one is happening in Hong Kong, I think early March. You've got in Mexico, you've got in the US, you've got in Lagos, in Nigeria, Abuja, all over the world. You could be part of an alumni association and participate in one way or the other. So I hope you found these conversations really, really exciting from myself and my fantastic colleague, Dr. Alvarez. If you want to know more, please follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook. And if you have any question or queries, please send it to lawpgt@abdn.ac.uk. Any final words from you, Dr. Alvarez?
No, well, just that, as I've been saying throughout my slides, be curious and have a look into our website, because all detailed information might be there as well. And also, if you write to us, which you should please do write to us, I think it will also help you to write all the questions that you want if you have a look into our different landing pages. And we look forward to hearing your questions if you have any.
Eddy, can I just interrupt at this point? If I could just come in and just,
Yeah.
there's been a few questions coming on social media and whatnot. So
Sure.
I think it's important. And one of the main questions I would have would be around the online element. We've seen the information about the online LLM that you guys offer, which looks great by all accounts. There used to be this kind of old age myth that you study online, it doesn't have the same standing, the same kind of backing as if you did have face, especially in certain countries like China and other nations in the Far East as well. Just how popular is an online LLM now, considering the flexibilities available depending on what the type of student is?
Gloria, do you want to take online questions? But again, I mean, I could say a few words before Gloria. It is getting really popular, and that's for a number of reasons. And it's not, there are people who are, they've got degrees and they're working and want to improve their knowledge in relation to the changing trends. But there are also young colleagues or young students who maybe wanted to come over for an on-campus program, but something happened. They got a job, they got married, things, and were unable to be in Aberdeen. I met someone online who said, I'd applied and got admission to be on campus, but then I married and I had a child, and so I couldn't come again. And she ended up doing it online. So it's all of that. You would see a variety of people, and it's really getting popular. I don't know if Dr. Alvarez would like to add anything else.
Well, just in terms of quality, this is something we take very seriously. So when we created our online programs, and as I said throughout my presentation, we are every year making sure we are mirroring the best practices that we do on campus, that we do online. That's very important for us because we are higher education in the UK. So that's kind of a flagship or kind of our core academic values. And when I say that is because if you actually do the comparison, you will see that pretty much is the same content. Is even sometimes we change the title to make it more attractive to online students, perhaps because of the demographics we will have online. But you have to be certain of that, of the quality. We just don't deliver kind of recordings or online videos. We have in our that kind of rainbow of type of assessments we make sure we meet the students and we talk to them, we get to know them, we have tutorials, the discussion boards. At some point throughout the course, um, students and the course coordinator will be interacting kind of online. We will see each other faces, we will get to know each other. We actually end up getting to know each other very well because of because we are very committed knowing that we need to be taking care of our online students being abroad. So we have that very, very clear. And maybe I didn't say that about myself, but I am currently similar to Eddy on campus, I am the director of the online program. So this is something we take very seriously, and we have a team overseeing that on a daily basis.
And obviously, we've just spoken about the online element of it there. One of the biggest things I took away from actually, Gloria, you speaking then about the library being on the top floor when I came and met some of your marketing staff a year or so ago. They actually invited me to that building and that library, and it's a phenomenal new building, which is fantastic. Talk to me more about Aberdeen, the pair of you, because having been there, and it was my first visit last year. Some people might think, oh, it's so far away. It's, there's not going to be anything there. But actually, you've got an international airport. The logistics are fantastic. You've got direct railway links. It's got that big feel city without being a huge city. And it's also got that intimate feel of being a smaller town where everybody knows everybody without being a bigger city. It's got quite a unique nature, which is wonderful. And there's plenty of international students there. Is that the same within your classes? Do you see a large cohort of non-UK students? And in particular, what kind of regions do you find more than most?
Yeah, again, just to jump on before my colleague Dr. Alvarez speaks. So the same thing. I this was the first place I'd been to, in my life. I'd not been to anywhere else other than my home country. And so when I was looking to do masters, I just went online and I googled, where can I do a masters in oil and gas law? And that was the very first university that popped up, University of Aberdeen, and that is how I applied, and that is how I found myself here. I'd never been anywhere else, so I'm not speaking as someone who had been known so much about the city. But once I lived here, and I remember work taking me all over, be it Houston, be it, really big cities, or even intimate cities as well, like Bergen in Norway. I always looked forward to coming back. And that's because, like you say, Aberdeen gives you almost the best of both worlds. And that is informed by, long history of being an oil city or an energy city. It's known as the oil capital of Europe, now also priding itself as the energy capital. And because the infrastructure and all of that for energy transition is well placed in Aberdeen, you go to the 7th floor, you see the very first floating wind turbine just off the window there, off the coast. I mean, that is the first in the world. The first floating wind turbine is there. And when we teach, and my area is offshore wind energy, I just point out and say, that's what I'm talking about. You don't need to go too far, to understand, the sort of things that we engage with and we teach. So the Aberdeen as a city gives you a bit of both, and that's drawn from the history, and that history has informed the international context in which people from all over the world dealing with energy, dealing with oil, but also dealing with commercial and arbitration issues are now beginning to move in, and you can see that within the classrooms as well. So I'll hand over to Gloria to say a few words about that as well.
I think that's a very usual question because students get allured to different cities in the UK. I myself, I have lived, unlike Eddy, I have lived in a couple of places across the UK. And I think if you are a student, Aberdeen is a very clever city to live because it's very friendly, it's very university-led, which means it's very safe. And it gives you this perception that everybody cares for the university and their students. So it gives you a wider sense of community in the city, which I think is very important in terms of safety, in terms of daily life, in terms of something very important Eddy was talking about, which is the student support. And very importantly, which I know it's a key aspect for students to consider when they do these type of degrees, in terms of finances, it's very friendly. So sometimes, and that's what I was saying, you can get into a train very quickly and go for a long weekend elsewhere. Aberdeen offers that because that's the way UK is, the infrastructure of the UK is built, right? So that all cities are connected. But I think in terms of quality of student life, Aberdeen offers you that. And by the way, this is something that we don't have in the slide, but I think we should put, apart from Eddy's photo as a proud alumni, we have a fantastic sports center, which was built less than 10 years ago with a very big investment from the National Lottery. And in terms of mental health, in terms of building, stronger relationship with your postgraduate friends. I love that. I really love it, which by the way is 5 minutes crossing from the law school building. And that's what I like about Aberdeen. You have your student accommodation, you have your sports center, you have the university, you have the cinema, the shops. So it gives you that added value that as a student you really need when you want to excel on your degrees, really.
Yeah, and just one final point, we haven't really spoken much about it, is employability, careers. So much, as you will know, in the law sector is about where they end up once they've graduated and what they do. Aberdeen as a city, as a university, has so many connections because of the oil industry background, but not only that, just because of its name now, it's got a really good standing, hasn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, the graduate attributes, you would see the rankings that, 90% or over 90% of our students go on to, employment or further studies. I started my PhD and I got a scholarship from the university to do my PhD immediately after I finished, my master's. And oh my God, I can imagine, that was really, really fantastic for me. And I speak to students every now and again. Students are asking me for references for jobs, and now that's why we've then introduced our LLM Career Day. We have a general law career day, but now we have something that is more bespoke to master students, which is the LLM Career Day, where we bring in potential employers into the room to tell you or tell our students what they're looking for. We have sessions on career design, so where you kind of map out, beyond my studies, where do I want to go? And you can, the career services are really there. Again, part of the things we have as student support, the career services are there to help you with your CVs, with your cover letters, all of the things that will put you in the right position to get a job. That is always available here. And so it's really a fantastic university, but also in terms of potential. And we say, you come to Aberdeen, but you can go anywhere in the world. So we have colleagues or students who have gone on to work in Hong Kong, in China, in Africa, in Europe, and everywhere. You could almost go anywhere because of the knowledge that you gather from university and the support that you get from the University of Aberdeen.
Absolutely superb. Just to point out as well, just before we do wrap up, there are so many funding opportunities, and we do get loads of questions about scholarships and funding. We've already heard about the Aberdeen Global Scholarship that's available. If you want to find out more information, I encourage you all to scan the QR codes that are currently on your screen at the moment, find out more information. If you do need to know more, email webinars@postgradsolutions.com. We'll put you in touch with Eddy and the team, and Gloria as well. But Eddy, Gloria, thank you for your time today. Huge thank you. It's been a big effort the last 55 minutes to an hour, so thank you very much. If anyone has any questions, like I said, we will be in touch. Eddy and Gloria will have your details. They'll reach out, but I encourage as many people as possible to find out as much information as they possibly can, and hopefully go on and do either the LLM degree online or on campus. But for now, thank you very much, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care.